Hello, everyone. This year's Virgo New Moon is going to be exactly on Regulus, big star Regulus, the star that is the heart of the celestial lion. And as most lunations usually act before, so every lunation has its greatest impact before it is becoming exact. It's just like transit, especially when it's just a one-tap transit and not a lasso transit. It means that the Trump-Putin meeting and the repercussions of that meeting were already affected by this particular new moon. So let's take a look at the chart. And again, I did it for London. So you need to relocate it wherever you are. It's going to be exact on August 23rd at 7:06 a.m. London time. And as you can see, it is going to be at Virgo 0 degrees 23, and Regulus is at 0 degrees 10, both in Virgo. We have a 12th house Sun Moon conjunction, very close to Trans Pluto. And this simply means that whatever occurred at the meeting is trying to remain hidden. And those who consider this a completely useless meeting should remember that, first of all, before two leaders meet, there's always usually some kind of negotiation. So by the time they meet, they know what they should expect. This is number one. Number two, this is going to be a long process. We all know. First of all, Europe wants war and wants to fuel the war further because the very, very dishonest leaders of the EU don't want it to stop for several reasons. First of all, they invested a lot of money, they wasted a lot of money in this business. They want their returns. And also, the moment they stop, they will become accountable because the people in the EU will ask questions and they don't want to answer these questions. They want to drag on the war for a couple of more years. And they are hoping that Trump will go away and the Republicans will lose the election. And then with a new Democrat administration, they will be back to square one, where they started the war, and they can continue trying to ruin both the EU and Russia, because that is exactly what's happening. So that's the agenda, unfortunately. And I don't really think that Trump has too many decisions to do. We will see. Let's put it this way. We will certainly see. At the moment, there's a major shift in the world. We are closing an era, and a new era is going to commence next year. And if we are kind of in between, we are already seeing some of we're getting glimpses of what this new era is going to be. And one is a permanent war energy where people become very poor. Personal freedom will be totally taken away. Security will be taken away, and we will be in the grip of the globalists. This is one scenario. The other scenario is a little bit better. There will be nation states. People will be kind of closing down in it themselves, and they are going to have bilateral agreements and not the major agreements. And they might be fighting, of course, with each other, just like usual. But there will be some kind of freedom, and the people will retain some kind of mobility. Let's put it this way. If the globalists win, that's it. It's not going to happen. Now, if you take a look at the chart, as I said, this is the London chart. You can see that Regulus is very, very close, but even in the declinations, we are going to see it in a moment. And the usual suspects are there, so I'm not going to enumerate because these are the placements I have been harping about for the last couple of weeks and even months. The Uranus Sedna, creation through dissection, which means the renewal of the world. We need to renew the world by throwing out things that are non-working. Chiron Aries, Aries in Aries, which is the war and wounds around war, and Saturn Neptune, which is the architect aspect, and of course the Vesta Juno conjunction is the so-called peace talks, but it wasn't peace talks, believe me. The two leaders of the world were discussing business, and unfortunately, Europe is being left out completely, as I explained in my previous video. So let's take a look at the Sun-Moon conjunction in the planetarium. And here is Regulus, the heart of the celestial lion. And you have the Sun-Moon conjunction. The moon is slightly above the sun in the declination. So there's, of course, no solar eclipse. Next month, it's going to be a solar eclipse, as far as I remember. But they're not yet conjunct in the declinations. But every year, the sun is always exactly conjunct Regulus, because Regulus happens to be exactly on the ecliptic, so the pathway of the sun. And now the moon is slightly above them a little bit. Okay, and here is the most important configuration. Around 0 to 1 degree. And you might remember in the last couple of months, we usually had anaretic and dissociate placements, because a few of the planets were in the 0 degrees and the others were at 29 degrees. And when this occurs, you have dissociate aspects which don't really function the way they are supposed to. And at the same time, when it's anaretic, when it's at 29 degree, it's the 30th degree, it usually means that type of that archetype is stuck. It's unable to transcend the current state of affairs. Now everything is at 0 to 1 degrees, or Pluto is at almost 2 degrees. There will be the shift back into the previous signs by Uranus and Neptune and Saturn, of course. So there will be some backing to the previous energy. The final shift will only occur in 2026, and that is when the new era is going to set in. We have a finger of fate, at the apex of which is the Sun-Moon conjunction with Saturn, Neptune, the architect, and Pluto, transformation. I just recently read Frank Clifford's article on astro.com. Frank he owns the London School of Astrology. I highly recommend the school. It's a wonderful astrology school. And he has a very interesting take on Saturn. He says that Saturn is really the antithesis of every other planet. And I fully agree. But in karmic astrology, what we say about Saturn, Lord of Karma, is rather from a different angle. We say that Saturn is the restraining energy that restrains the other planets, keeps them at bay, sort of things. But it's quite interesting. If you find the article, read it. It's very revealing. So anyhow, so that's the finger of fate. And then we also have an engine, which is at this moment a mutable air engine, because the square is in a mutable sign and the trine is in an air sign. So it's quite a functional engine. It can do a lot of stuff. The square is mutable, so again, it signifies changes. And the trine, especially between Uranus and Pluto, which are the two change planets, transformation planets, are in air signs, which means it is an ideological shift. It's very interesting. Please try to find the Hungarian series that is called The Rise of the Raven. And you will see that Hunyadi, who was a hero in the war against the Turks, and he gained a big victory in Vajda, actually in Székesfehérvár. No, sorry. Well, this is a glitch in my anyhow. It was a major victory against the Turks, and it set them back for 80 years. So they really saved the West, and so many times, really so many times. And take a look at the guy who is the main protagonist, who is playing Hunyadi. His name is Gellért El Kadar. It's a very strange Hungarian name, anyhow. he became the new star, the new face, the new image for Yves Saint Laurent, the new masculine perfume. And this signifies a huge shift. So the LGBTQ beauties are taken away, taken down, and now the new image is not toxic masculinity, but regained masculinity. And the reason is very dishonest. Why? Because Europe needs soldiers. And of course, the LGBTQ people won't fight, because if you don't know whether you are a man or a woman and can't decide your gender, then you're not going to be a fighter. You need men to fight. So now they are taking an image, which is the pure masculinity, really. He's a beautiful guy, really. I mean, half the country is in love with him already, and half the world will be in love with him. And this is what's necessary now. Just mark my words, big heroes are coming back, because that is what they need. In 5 years, they need to raise a huge army against the Russians, so that people can fight. Good luck with it, because you just ruined this in the last couple of years, 10 years for sure, 15 more. And these people won't fight, believe me. Those who could won't. Anyhow, so that is shown by the Uranus Pluto trine, reconsidering ideologies, redoing ideologies and theories. There's also harmony triangle, the same guys, at the apex of which you have the Saturn-Neptune conjunction. And there's also a little engine with Sun, Moon, Uranus, Saturn, and Saturn-Neptune. So that is the main aspect configuration. And here are the transcendental celestial objects. Again, everything is color coded. Asteroids, which describe the personal karmic level, are purple or magenta. Blue ones are TNOs, SDOs, centaurs, trans-Neptunians in short. We call them centaurs in general in karmic astrology. And red are fixed stars, which are not part of the solar system. They're part of the universe and express universal higher dimensional energies. On the Sun, Moon, you have Hesperia, Nestor, Sila Nunam, and Regulus. We are going to look at Sila Nunam in a minute, and also Regulus, the heart of the celestial lion. Nestor was a Christian who was not Roman Christian Catholic, but truly Jesus follower. And of course, he was murdered and deemed as a heretic. And Hesperia, the Hesperids, are the Western sisters, and they describe the Westerners who are trying to scramble now to the table where Putin and Trump are. And it's really ridiculous to watch the European leaders. It's ridiculous what they're trying to do. Anyhow, on Saturn, Neptune have Borasisi, the tyrant, and then have Kaitos, which is the tail of the celestial veil, Beta Cetus. On Uranus, Sedna, you have Osiris, the lord of the underworld in Egyptian mythology, and the Pleiades, which is the home of the creator goddess. And on Pluto, you have Alma, which means the soul, and Altair, which is Alpha Aquila, one of the shaman stars. Here are Regulus and Altair. Both are stars representing the heart. Now, Regulus, the whole constellation Leo is about to become a king, to become a ruler, to become a monarch. And the most important stages are Danabola, which is the instinctual level, Zosma, which is the breaking level, and then Regulus, which is the heart, which is the two monarch. And Aquila, this natural bird, okay, the heart of which is Altair, and this is one of the shaman stars. But if you look at Aquila, the bird itself, of course, it is a symbol for Scorpio. And Leo and Scorpio are, of course, in square energy, if you look at the astrological connotations as well. And here's Denakaitos. Actually, the veil, celestial veil, is a very long, big constellation. It's a little bit more than 2 signs, actually. And the Kaitos is the tail, and Menkar, of course, is the stare. This is Menkar is at the liminal space between Aries and Taurus. And if you want to read about liminal spaces, then try to find Bernard Brady's article on Starlight magazine. It's on the web. And the Pleiades, which are the home of the creator goddess, this is the tiniest of the constellations. And at the moment, it is changing signs. Some of its stars are already in Gemini, and a few, like Atlas, are still in Taurus. And this is the home of the creator goddess, and it shows the shift between the earthly practical energies towards the more cerebral, airy, and intellectual energies. That is what the creator goddess is doing at the moment. And here's Sila Nunam, which is a binary object where the two bodies are almost of equal size. So there's the main body and the moon, which is they're almost equal. And that is why it gets a double name. And the object type is TNO, trans-Neptunian object. The orbital period is 291 years. It's quite a long orbital period. And its mythology is of the Inuit mythology, where Sila is the sky god, the sky god which rules the life force itself, and also the weather and everything that is up there, while Nunan, the earth goddess, rules the rocks, the earth, the trees, and everything that is down to the earth plane. That is why I always say, when I talk about Sila Nunam, earth and sky together. And in karmic astrology, it describes the dual power of feminine and masculine and the ability to understand bifurcation points in life, which means if you are familiar with chaos theory describes bifurcation points where things are decided and there's one way or the other. When you make a decision, there's no going back down. Those are the bifurcation points. And whenever it is prominent, it indicates such bifurcation points. At the moment, Sila Nunam is conjunct the sun and the moon, the new moon energy. So this is definitely a bifurcation energy as well, this particular new moon. It could be for you. It is for the world, but it could be on your own. It's on my Pluto, so I'm ready for transformation on my own level. Okay, hold on a second. I don't know what happened. Here, something happened. Okay, maybe I have to. No, that's it. I don't know. Sometimes my computer does strange things. Okay, there's one motto that I need to say about Sila Nunam. Take what you have and dare to become more. So that is the main meaning. And this, again, this you have to understand the bifurcation points in life, and you have to choose between potentials, and you have to do it rationally, because that is what is your saving grace, not the emotions. That's what Sila Nunan is about. And here's a tense trapeze as well. So the past 2 weeks, tense energies are there in the chart. And as I said, lunations are usually acting before they actually become exact. This is the case with all the eclipses, which can actually be before and after as well. But usually lunations start until the next lunation sets in, but mostly before and not after. So here's the trapeze, which is always the stage. And here, this trapeze has all the tense aspects. Two squares are the inner energies. One is mutable, and the other one is cardinal. So you have change and new stuff. And the base is the Sun-Moon conjunction, sesquiquadrating Ceres, the nurturing principle, and the home energy, and the nation, home, family, nurturing, feeding, and that is there. And the upper side of the stage itself, where you step in and talk, is the Uranus Sedna conjunction, making a semi-square to Jupiter. Jupiter enlarges everything it touches. Uranus is change, and Sedna is creation through dissection. That is what is happening in the world. There's a new world order being created, and that is what the big powers are trying to do. They are redefining and redistributing the world among themselves. And I have a hunch that we Europeans won't come too well out of the whole process. There are a few transcendental celestial objects here as well. We already saw Uranus and the Sun Moon. Same. Ceres doesn't have any, but Jupiter has Plutarchus, which is a philosopher, and Canopus, which is a star, Alpha Carina, which you won't be able to see from the northern hemisphere, only from the southern hemisphere, South Africa, South America, or New Zealand, or Canada, or Australia, unfortunately. But anyhow, that is Canopus and Ceres are very, very close to each other within 1 degree. Ceres is no longer there because the orb is too wide, but Canopus is there, and it's usually representing hidden navigation, hindered or hidden navigation. So that is the energy pattern of this particular new moon on Regulus. Happy new moon, and use the energy wisely. You can actually put things into order, Virgo, and new moons are always about new beginnings. Happy new beginnings. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.